what do you like about running?
It's kind of like an arranged marriage. It really helped push me to get that 10,000 meter school record. I can eat anything I want, really, you know what I mean? Because I just burn it in half an hour. I wanted to see how good I become.
Welcome to the Winners Club podcast. I'm your host, Bryce Wilson, and today I'm here with D1 track and cross country runner, Victor Neiva. Victor, thanks for being here.
Hey, thank you.
Before we get into your mindset of being a D1 athlete, I want to get into your journey to become a D1 athlete. So can you take us back to the beginning? Who was Victor as an athlete growing up?
Growing up, obviously athletics has been a part of my whole life. I guess the beginning was me becoming a soccer player. I had that dual citizenship with Brazil, and my dad was a soccer player. So he kind of pushed that soccer influence early. And my soccer coach was like, hey, man, like you should try cross country, get you in shape for soccer. And I was like, all right, like I'll do it. Ran a JV meet where I won and kind of never looked back.
You said you started that in middle school or high school, and then when did you realize that you could play or run in college?
So after that junior year of high school where I had my first cross country season, I was like, man, I didn't really dedicate myself fully. So I wonder how good I could become if I fully dedicated myself.
Right.
So senior year, kind of switched it on, started working harder, and had a lot of success my senior year, which ultimately got me the opportunity to run here at the University of North Texas.
I read that your parents immigrated from Brazil and everything. So
Right.
how did that impact you growing up? You said your dad was also a soccer player, athlete. How did all of that, the culture, influence you?
So, I mean, Brazil comes from a background of just hardworking people, you know, not a lot of opportunities, but just great people who work hard. And, you know, again, my parents kind of pushed that sort of philosophy of you can really do anything you want to do. You just got to kind of push yourself. And thank God they kind of taught me those values. So I wouldn't be here without them.
That hardworking culture probably influenced you as a runner, because my next question is, why do you like to run? Because for most sports, running is usually the punishment. But I do understand, like I'm a retired athlete now, and I don't like the gym. So one of the things I do love to do is go for runs as my form of exercise. Yeah. But I do that like a couple times a week maybe, and I take it light. But you know, running is like you're going hard every day, and it's every day. So what do you like about running?
It's kind of like an arranged marriage. I kind of had to fall in love with it as I went. Yeah. It's just sort of that sense of accomplishment before even the day starts. You know, we run super early. You get that run in and you're like, man, okay, I already got 12 miles in. Let's see what else the day has in store for me. Right. You know what I mean? So you already kind of go into that day with that sense of accomplishment. That's what I kind of love about it. And obviously it has great benefits. You know, you're healthy, you feel fit. I can eat anything I want, really. You know what I mean? Because I just burn it in half an hour.
Yeah, we'll get into how you feel during it and how you overcome that, but like afterwards, it's a rewarding feeling that it's kind of what you chase.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you went to UNT, and if I'm not mistaken, was that the COVID year that you first came to UNT?
Yep. So I came in my freshman year. They gave me a COVID year, so I have an extra year of eligibility, which is super cool. But yeah, the campus, I even lived on campus during that time, and it was basically vacant.
And were you still able to run?
Yeah, we were still able to train with the team. Okay. Obviously, it looked a little bit different, but we were still going out and making sure that we got our runs in.
So let's talk about your first, year of actually running for UNT. How did that year go, and how did you gain confidence overall through those years?
I came in with a lot of confidence, and I got kind of,
humbled?
Yeah, I got humbled real quick. I went from, winning races, I'd say relatively easily. Yeah. It was never easy, but to a massive jump and a level change, and it was really difficult to sort of transition from that.
One of the things about you is you do multiple different events. You do the track indoor, you do track outdoor, you do cross country, you do steeplechase, all that. So why do you do so many events?
The reason I do so many events is to give my team the chance to score as many points as possible. But yeah, cross country. If you're a cross country, if you're a distance runner, your season is the whole year. So I got cross country, a little break that I'm in right now. Then we'll jump into indoor and outdoor. So our season is basically year round.
Right. Like, how does your mentality and training change for each one? I assume like cross country training is different from track training. So how does that all shift, and how are you able to adapt?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, after you do it for so long, you kind of understand what your body can handle, what it can't handle, and so the changes gets easier and easier.
The physical, it kind of adapts, but the mentality is what needs to stay the same.
Yeah, you definitely got to be mentally strong to put in the work. I mean, I stay motivated just by setting goals, short-term goals, mid-term goals, long-term goals, and then even things beyond that,
Right.
to kind of help me stay focused and motivated. If I have a goal that's accomplishable, but it's really far away, and I'm over here, it's kind of hard to stay on track, right? But if I have those short-term goals leading up to that massive goal, it's kind of hard. It's easier to stay on track mentally, physically, right? So I'll set those short-term goals, and I'll get there, I'll accomplish it, and I'll go to the next one, I'll go to the next one until the point where, all right, now I'm getting to the sort of end goal, basically.
Yeah. I do have to say, first thing, that we are listening to UNT royalty right now because this is the 10,000 meter record holder.
Yes.
So can you take us through that race and what you do differently during that race to achieve that record?
I think number one is I got a great chance to run in California where there are a massive competition, a lot of really talented runners. So the field really helped to push me to get that 10,000 meter school record. I had a lot of confidence going in. I felt really good during the warm up, and sort of everything kind of was working to get, perfectly. Getting into the race, and I knew it was sort of a race that was going to be difficult to win. I always go in with the mentality of trying to win, but I knew it was going to be difficult, and I knew that if I hung around with that pack and let them kind of pull me along, then ultimately the time was going to be good. In track, it's easier to set the goal because you look at the time, okay, this is the record, this is where I want to be, these are some of the steps I need to get to there. And so, it's always in the back of my mind, hey, this is the school record. So
would you say it was mostly the competition that helped push you, or was it one of those things where you kind of did the same thing as always, but just one of those days where it was worked, or would you say it was mostly the competition?
Having a world-class field is going to help you a lot. I love to compete, so when I see this guy right next to me who's doing the same thing, I got to beat this guy. You know what I mean? Right. I didn't even win, but the time was I didn't even win, but the time was really good.
Now we'll get into your mindset, so we can break some records too.
Sure.
Do you have any mental techniques or tactics that you do in particular?
Visualizing.
Okay.
Kind of seeing what I want to do, kind of picturing in my head what I think it's going to look like. So when I get to that race day, I can already kind of see what will happen, right? Another thing is just kind of setting those short-term goals and taking it day by day. It's really easy to kind of go hard every single day, but sometimes you need to take a step back to take, 3 steps forward. Right. And you need to be really smart when you get to this sort of level.
Do you do any meditation? Like when people say meditation, they usually think, maybe a monk in a room closing their eyes. But I think meditation is really just being present. And that's why I enjoy running, because that's one of the things that forced me to be present. When you're on a run and you're in so much pain, you can't think about tomorrow or what we're going to do later. You have to think about just taking the next step. Absolutely. So is running kind of a form of meditation for you and just helps you to stay present?
Yeah, absolutely. Running is something that you have to stay present, like you're saying. You got to be in the moment. When you're running, you're not really thinking of anything else, and I think that's mentally one of the great things.
What do you think during a race? Running is one of those things where when it gets hard, your body's telling you to stop. Your mind might tell you to stop. Yeah. So where do you kind of tell yourself to keep going? Is it one of those things where you just empty your mind, don't think about anything, or are you just telling yourself positive things? How are you getting through those tough moments?
During the race, what I'll typically do is I'll just kind of shut down, right? Turn everything off, see what's going on around me, kind of take a look at some of the individuals around me, see how they're feeling. And sometimes they might feel like, horrible, they're breathing hard, and that actually might give me a little bit of an edge. Mentally, I think, I already got this guy beat. Yeah. And when things really get hard, I just kind of think like, okay, I got to keep pushing. Maybe someone in the crowd might encourage you a little bit, and that gives you another jump. Maybe try and pass people, just kind of go mile by mile.
What's your relationship to pain? Running is painful. So how do you deal with pain? How do you overcome it?
I think you just kind of go to your happy place. You know what I mean?
What's your happy place?
Yeah, my happy place is just kind of the finish line, getting done.
I don't know if you know. Do you know who David Goggins is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so he's a Navy SEAL turned ultra marathoner, and he has something called like the 40% rule, where when you think you've given it all you have, you've probably only hit 40%, and you still have 60% left to give. Have you, I don't know about that equation, but have you experienced something like that where you feel like you've given it all you have, and then maybe because you see an opponent or you see the finish line, you're able to push yourself even further?
Yeah, in a race, you might get to a point where you are hurting pretty bad. It's crazy what the human body can endure. So if you can push a little bit, you might even be able to find like a second wind and another boost of energy that might help you go that further mile.
We can talk about practice. How do you stay disciplined to return to practice every day? I keep focusing on pain, but that's what I'm trying to understand. The cross country and track running is difficult. So how do you show up every day and realize, tomorrow, you're gonna have to run an X number of miles. You're gonna have to do X number of miles the next day. How do you keep returning to practice?
What really motivated me this year was I wanted to see how good I become. I wanted to be one of the better runners on the team, right? One of the best, if not. That's always my goal, is to be better. And so that was what really motivated me. I said, all right, let's see how good I can become just every day working hard every day, and let's see what I can do, what I can accomplish. And this year I accomplished a lot, and it even helps me motivate me for the next time, right? So now I'm gonna see, okay, what are the small details that I can do now to get even better and even better. So that's what motivates me, is just seeing where I can become, just push the limit, just become better. That's what motivates.
That's my kind of similar drive too. And I think you can apply it to almost anything. Just be the best that you can be in whatever you do. Can you talk about a little bit about habits and consistency? I know that when I run, being consistent, that's the way to that running gets easier. So what are kind of your daily habits? Like, what are the things that you have to do every day?
Consistency is key in running. There's going to be days where you don't feel as good as you did yesterday, or, you don't feel very good, but you have to kind of get through it, right? You have to find a way to push yourself and get through that workout, even when you're not feeling aggressive or that easy run. And what you'll notice is, as you keep going day by day, you'll find a really massive jump in improvement on when it comes to race day.
I think that habits kind of build on each other. Like if you do it today and tomorrow, that'll help you do it the third day, and you keep doing it. And so now that once you got a routine going, you don't have to motivate yourself every day to keep running, because you probably tomorrow at a certain time you're gonna run.
And it gets to the point where if I don't do it, then I feel strange. Like I'll honestly and it's really weird. Like I'll have headaches because I didn't run in the morning or something like that. It's very strange how the body reacts to something that you've been doing for so long, and all of a sudden after you cut it off, how your body reacts. Like I won't feel as good, or and I don't know. These might be strange phenomena, and it could be something super relevant, but I've noticed that I'll have allergies if I don't run, stuff like this. It's just really, really strange. But it's super important to kind of understand that, there might be a day where, hey, it might be beneficial for you not to run today, and stuff like that. And that's what I kind of learned as I got more experience is, if the goal is to get better, what do I need to do today to get better? And sometimes it may look like, hey, you don't have to run.
What do you like to do on those off days, and whether it's during this break time or maybe in season, you still have to have at least maybe one day or a couple hours at least to rest off. So what do you like to do during that time?
I'll hang out with my roommates. I'll watch the World Cup now.
That's
what I'm doing right now. Hopefully Brazil wins it, right?
We'll see. I think they could.
I think so, man. I have that dual citizenship, so I'm always cheering for them. Play pool with friends. It's really just kind of finding what you can do for fun without really pushing your body. Like I used to freshman year, right? I used to be like, okay, I'm going to go play soccer. But it's just too much on your body, right? And I'll end up, that's something I had to learn, that, hey, I can't do this anymore if I really want to be where I want to be,
That is difficult. So now during this break time, you can't really do anything too physical. Like it has to be all sedentary, stuff like that.
Yeah, like I said, I'll play pool because that's fun, and that's something that's I'm still kind of getting my competitive niche in, right? Without, pushing my body to the limit.
How does teamwork play a role in running, whether with friends or with family or just in teammates in general, and how does that play a role in running?
Cross country is a massive team sport. You'll see some of the best teams in the world find each other in that race and kind of help each other through, some when it really gets hard, right? And that's what it does. I train with my teammates every day so that when it comes race time, I have people around my back that are going through the same thing.
I did some research on like Eliud Kipchoge. He's a marathon world record holder.
Yep.
And he was a big proponent on running with teammates. During that time where he broke the record, he was running with high-level teammates every single day, and he had that just community with him.
Right.
Is that really important, just to have those teammates pushing you every day and just have that community that you can relate to?
Absolutely, yeah. It's having the people do the same thing as you that kind of helps you, mentally. Like, hey, these guys are doing the same thing as me, right? I can keep going, right?
How do you balance college life and then running? Running is one of those sports where, other sports you can kind of get away with. Maybe the night before, some guys might party or something, and then maybe your teammates pick up the slack and you don't look as bad during the game day. But running it shows the proof is there. If you didn't do the work, it'll show. So how do you still balance enjoying yourself with getting the work in?
And that's another thing. Like, it's not easy, right? But you run in the morning and then you go to class and you running in the morning is not something that takes forever. So you'll get it done, get it out of the way, and then you start focusing on classes and stuff like that. Study hall. I'm always in there even when I don't need to be in there. Just kind of
just be focused. Yeah.
Right, absolutely. Just kind of putting yourself in that environment where, hey, this is what needs to be done.
And do you live a completely healthy lifestyle? Like, are you always drink water, always eating healthy, or how do you balance like the physical health part of that?
My goal, like I said, is to be, one of the best, right? So I'm taking a look into the small details, right? Like water, hydration, nutrition, sleep is a big thing. And I'm just trying to find everything and build upon it. And so, yeah.
You said you want to be the best that you can be. And obviously, as a competitive person, you want to be one of the best out there. So if you're trying to be the best, you always have to be improving on weaknesses. So is there a certain weakness that you're trying to improve? Maybe it's a technical thing in running, or is it just mindset, or you said nutrition, all these things? What are some areas you're trying to improve?
Well, I feel like I can improve in all areas, but now I'm looking at the smaller details that might help me gain a second or two, because those second or two are crucial now. So nutrition is something that I'm really taking a look at now. Sleep, like I'm saying, I'm pretty good with hydration, but mentally, I used to struggle staying focused and staying consistent. But as I've gotten better, and as I'm starting to listen to my body, understand what I can do, what I can't do, my kind of mind has helped me get there. I'll always come back to the goal.
Right.
If I ever feel myself like, oh man, I'm slipping, or if something's going on, I always kind of realign myself with, all right, why am I here? What am I doing this for? This is the goal. What do I need to do to get back on track, basically?
Yeah, and that's great advice. And I like what you're saying about even when you have those bad races, or you might struggle in a race, you stay focused on the goal of, I want to be the best I can be, and that keeps you staying focused.
There will be some bumps in the road, obviously. When you get to this level, it might have been something you did a couple days ago, right? If I don't get good sleep leading into the race, it'll show in the race, right? And so, yeah, if I have a bad result, I'll kind of, all right, I'll take it. It'll hit me on the chin, right? I'll take it, and then I'll see what I could have done to improve.
You've given some great advice already. Now I'm going to ask the final 5 questions. These are the final 5 questions I like to ask all the athletes, because they usually have interesting answers.
Sure.
So the first one is, what's a misconception about being a D1 athlete?
That, like, it's almost unobtainable. Like, D1 athletes are different, and we're really not. Another misconception is we go hard every day. We actually run, 80% of my runs are actually very slow pace. And, you have to do that in order to be, improve.
What's the worst conditioning workout you've ever had? Now I know you do you do cross country and track, so I know you've had some bad ones. What's kind of the one sticks out? That's the worst one you ever had?
It was 400 repeats on the track, so basically one lap on the track at a fairly decent speed, and I had like 30 of those in a row. And those are the ones where you gotta. You're questioning yourself throughout the workout.
Why am I here? Next one is, what's your best memory as an athlete?
Getting that school record was really special to me. I think that was one of my highest in my career to this day, was getting that school record. Just because my philosophy of kind of being not good but great. And so when I got that school record, it was kind of like, okay, finally I can kind of, that was one of my big goals, is to kind of be, one of the best, kind of put my name engraved somewhere, right? So I think that was one of the highs of my career, was getting that school record. And so, I'm planning on getting a few more, right?
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
He's one to watch. Make sure you watch him. And then, what's one thing you tell upcoming college athletes about being a college athlete?
Find a way to stay consistent, even when it gets tough.
Mm.
That's where you'll find the biggest improvement as an athlete.
Right.
So I'll tell them to stay as healthy as possible and stay consistent. And if you do those two things, you'll learn so much about your mental capabilities, your physical capabilities. And when you start getting that experience, that's when you can find a way to that next level and kind of push yourself beyond.
Last question. What does it mean to be a winner?
I think winning is always the best thing you can do, but there's always positives to take away from it. And if I push myself to win and I don't get there, I've already probably learned a lot more than, hey, I'm just gonna go through the motions. You know what I mean? So if I push myself to win, I'll learn more about myself and ultimately become a better athlete.